Trev TV. I'm the Trev. It's too sweet. Now, before I go any further, I have to start off with two simple words. All you wrestling marks, that's not the words you want to hear. Without prejudice. Very important, especially if you're all about free speech. What that does is it covers your ass. That way, if you're saying anything derogatory or harmful, it's without prejudice. You can't sue. On the topic of sue, not the boy named Sue, as in like civil lawsuits. If you're like me, you woke up to that, or at least got to read it before you started your workday. But anyway, remember this? How big it was 30 years ago, how big it is still today? It's created a bit of a shitstorm, shall we say. Want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. So, as I said, you probably started off your workday, or at least had this come into your workday at some point. Spencer Eldon, this kid, well, he's not a kid anymore. He was 4 months old when this was taken. For the record, second best Nirvana album. Changed my mind. Spencer Eldon, 30-year-old man now. His claim to fame is this cover, is now suing Nirvana. And a lot of other people in with it as well. For claims that this picture is being called child sexual exploitation, even going as far as calling it CP, is causing him damage to his life since and still, and probably in the future, according to him. Now, to save you a bit of a click, people named in this lawsuit that he's searching for minimum 150 grand each from every party that's named in this civil suit includes but is not limited to Nirvana LLC, Universal Music, the David Geffen Company and Geffen Records, Warner Records, MCA Music, Kurt Weddle, who is the photographer, Kurt Cobain, Courtney Love as the executor to his estate, Heather Perry and Gus Ossery as managers of the estate, Chris Novoselic, Chad Channing, Dave Grohl, and Robert Fisher are all named in this lawsuit. As I said, he's seeking $150,000 each, plus attorney fees and other court costs. And the court could also award punitive damages and grant other such preliminary and equitable relief if the court determines it appropriate. The papers also note the band knowingly produced CP by using the image without covering the schlong, the wiener, the ding-dong, whatever you want to call it, which caused widespread sexual exploitation and image trafficking. Now, let's not even think of the fact that the Scorpions, Blind Faith, and Van Halen have all used kids on their records. And granted, they might not have all been like this. It's also being alleged that neither Eldon nor his legal guardians signed a release authorizing the use of the image taken during the photo shoot that resulted in the cover art. Quick elbow in here. Art is subjective. Remember that. Now, again, apparently this has caused permanent harm, as the proximity suffered includes but is not limited to extreme and permanent emotional distress, with physical manifestations, interference in his normal development and educational process, lifelong loss of income, earning, and capacity, loss of past and future wages, past and future expenses for medical and psychological treatment, loss of enjoyment of life. Hold on to that one. And other losses to be described and proven at the trial of this matter. Now, let's go back to loss of enjoyment of life. Again, this is without prejudice. How can it be a loss of enjoyment of life if you recreated the event, if you recreated the photo shoot and wanted the photographer to do it the exact same way it was done 5 years ago? You want the proof? Here it is. Yeah, life genuinely sucks, especially when you got Nevermind tattooed on your chest. Can you pick up my cynicism? It's not actually meant to be so obvious, but I can't help. I just can't help. Again, this was done in 91. And according to all the evidence, the parents were paid $200 for this photo. Now, I'm not a legal. I'm not a lawyer. I'll say that straight off the bat. 30 years? And you're just doing this now? Let's get on with my opinion. So as I was saying, before I decided we should cut to what I think. I don't know how, again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal, but in Canada, we have a thing called statute of limitations, which means you can't do something like this after 7 years. Again, that's how we do it in Canada. I don't know how they do it in the States, but I can imagine the statute of limitations applies. It has to. It has to. So based on that, there's your first fault. Your second fault. Why now? I mean, by seeing 15 names in that suit, do the math. 150 times 15, that's 1.5. So no, it's definitely not money related, not at all. I mean, we all can't chase the dollar, can we? Thirdly, and this is the most important question I have. Did you sue your parents? You had to have sued them first. Because, as I said, he was 4 months old when that was taken. In any Western civilization, past, present, future, where the law abides to children and contracts and using image, there's no way, even in the 90s, there's no way they could have used that photo without parental consent. No way. If they didn't get a signature, it would have been a different cover. It might have looked like that. Or it might have even just looked like the back cover. No way. It can't happen like that. So, again, did you sue your parents? Because if you didn't sue your parents, this lawsuit is not going to fly. They'll laugh you out of the building. And even with the statute of limitations, if you're just suing your parents now, they'll still laugh you out. Because how can you determine at 4 months old that this is going to cause you serious psychological impact and effect? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Which leads to, ultimately, my biggest conclusion, and probably many other people's conclusion. Chase that dollar. Chase the dollar. That's all it boils down to. Because really, being who he is, being what he's on, and being that he's already said that he was quite happy to contribute to a piece of rock history on a very influential album, to just change his mind? He recreated the photo shoot. He wanted to do it the same way. So what changed? Other than he's probably broke. This is no way to get money. It really isn't. You can't, unless you're a complete hypocrite. Backtracking like this does nobody any good, especially you. Again, without prejudice. Am I shooting? No. No, this is not a shoot. This is how I see it for the fact. And the fact is, this lawsuit is a waste of paper. It's a waste of taxpayer money because it's not gonna fly. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, I could think of a million different words, a million different names to sum all this up. Long story short, pointless. Utterly pointless. If you really wanted 1.5 that bad, rob a fucking bank. Hit up a drug dealer. Something. You're not going to win this. Says another one from Trev TV. Oh, thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you're here. Just me talking, you listening. It's a great thing. It's working so well. So let's keep the momentum going. While you're here, hit that like button. While you're at it, that little red button that says subscribe, hit it. You know you want to. I know you want to. Subscribing makes you feel good. And we need to catch up to the hockey channel. Let's surpass the hockey channel if we're able. Either way, let's get to 100. I'd love to see it happen, and I'd love you guys to be a part of it. Socials are in the description down below. Moving forward, for the main channel, I got a few things. Now that I'm convincing myself to be a little more proactive, a little more on point on the main channel, and not focus all my energy on the hockey channel, because I focus enough, and I'll never stop making hockey videos. But there's more stuff coming. But either way, in the meantime, and in between time, be looking for more videos from Trev. Later.